We have walked through streets where fear had a smell, and the sky felt low enough to touch, like a lid pressed on your thoughts. We have watched order dissolve into whispers, into doors shut, into footsteps running, into prayers too quiet to matter. So walk with me, close. Don't look for an enemy in the alleys, because this time, the city won't be taken by sickness or soldiers, but by something under your own boots. Listen. The air turns thick. Glass sings. Lamps shiver. The ground opens its mouth and starts to speak softly. Walk with me down the sidewalk while the city is still half asleep, when your breath shows up before your thoughts do, and the street lamps feel like the last stars that forgot to leave. Keep close. Look at the windows, dark, innocent, like nothing in them has ever screamed. Hear that quiet? It isn't peace. It's weight, the kind that presses on your ears until you notice your own heartbeat. Smell the cold dust, coal, and smoke clinging to brick. It's about 5:12 a.m. on April 18th, 1906, and the world is holding its breath so tightly you can almost taste metal on your tongue. Feel the boards under your feet, the stone, the mortar, everything pretending to be solid. Then a foreshock slips through, small enough that your mind wants to excuse it, like a muscle twitch you ignore. Don't move yet. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. The pause is only about 20 to 25 seconds, but it stretches, elastic, cruel. The city tries to settle back into itself. Somewhere, a sign creaks. Somewhere, a cup stops rattling and thinks it's safe. And then the main shock arrives, not as a single jolt, but as a sustained violence, about 45 to 60 seconds of shaking that turns straight lines into suggestions. Glass gives a high song. Wood complains. Your stomach rises as if the street has become water. Step by step, you feel the ground argue with gravity, refusing to behave. Your throat goes dry. You realize you've been breathing in shallow sips. Hold on to the air. And then the string snaps. At 5:12 a.m. on April 18th, 1906, offshore Northern California, the world doesn't just shake, it slides. A 7.9 earthquake, and the city you thought you knew is suddenly misaligned with itself. Look up. The skyline wavers like heat. Look down, the street is no longer a promise. It is a moving surface with opinions. Silence. Then the hiss of shattered glass. Then the low, animal groan of timber and stone trying to stay married. Walk with me. Keep your knees loose. Feel how the motion climbs your legs and reaches for your throat. Doors jam. Bricks shed like skin. Signs swing, then snap, then vanish into dust. People don't scream at first. They listen, as if sound might explain what physics won't. Now widen the camera. This isn't a single neighborhood's nightmare. The shaking is felt from southern Oregon all the way to south of Los Angeles and east into central Nevada. The map itself flinches. You can almost sense distant towns pausing at the same instant, holding their breath in different languages. And beneath all of it, the San Andreas Fault is moving, about 270 miles of it, tearing and shifting, a long seam ripping open and sliding shut. No lecture, just the feeling of the earth refusing to be still. The ground is a conveyor belt. It drags confidence sideways. It teaches your body that balance is a myth. Here's the cruel trick. Later, people will remember this as one city's disaster. Fires will steal the headline. San Francisco, they'll say, as if the damage stopped at the waterfront. But it didn't. The rupture ran its length, and the shaking punished more than one name. Stay close. Watch the cracks chase each other like lightning on the ground. Listen to the aftershocks in your own bones. The air tastes of grit, then copper, then something hotter. And somewhere, not far away, smoke starts to look for a way. Stay with me. Don't run toward the shouting, run your eyes instead. The shaking is over, but the city has learned a new language. Crackle, hiss, a hungry inhale. An earthquake is an injury. What comes next is a siege. Look there, down in the business district near Montgomery Street and across south of Market. You don't need to know how it starts to understand what it does. Fire finds the gaps the quake opened, and it moves like a decision being made for everyone at once. It goes through the streets the way a flood goes through a valley. It goes up toward Russian Hill. It goes into Chinatown. It goes on to North Beach. It climbs Telegraph Hill, one name after another, like doors being shut in your face. Listen to the sound of it. Not one flame, many, separate tongues that join, split, join again. Walk with me along the edges where people stand, watching, because there's nowhere else to stand. The air turns sharp. Soot sticks to the back of your throat. The daylight looks sick. People stop speaking in plans and start speaking in directions. Left, right, higher ground. Someone points, someone prays, someone stares. In that moment, you understand. This isn't aftermath. This is the beginning, and it doesn't end when you want it to. It lasts 4 days, burning, reshaping, erasing, until rain finally smothers what the city cannot. More than 500 blocks of the center are leveled. About 4 square miles, 10 square kilometers, gone, as if the map was rubbed raw. Stand still. Feel the heat fade, not into peace, but into absence. The ash still breathes. Walk with me into the 4th night, when the heat has lived on your skin so long it feels permanent, like a hand pushing down between your shoulder blades. The air tastes of smoke and bitter ash, and every breath scratches. Then, rain. Not applause, not mercy, just rain arriving after 4 days, falling through the soot as if the sky is tired too. Do you feel the cold? It creeps under the collar, turns the burned streets slick, turns the ash to a dark paste that clings to your boots. The flames shrink, hiss, and finally give up their light. But what's left isn't a city waiting to wake. It's gaps, frames, chimneys standing like broken teeth, silence where walls used to be. About 28,000 buildings are gone, and the number doesn't sound like tragedy until you try to picture one doorway, then 28,000 of them vanishing. You can stand in the rain and still smell yesterday's fire, still see the orange ghost behind your eyelids. The city isn't saved. It's simply cooled for the moment. No more roar, only dripping. Now the smoke is gone, and the numbers step out of the ruins like stones in your hands. 45 to 60 seconds of shaking, then 4 days of fire, a brief violence, and then a long one. And when you try to remember it, your mind wants to call it one thing, one headline, one moment. But it wasn't. It was a city learning how small it really was. Walk through it, head first. Rain on ash, chimneys standing alone, streets mapped by absence. The silence is not quiet. It's an inventory you feel in your ribs. More than 3,000 people are dead. Around 250,000 are homeless. About 28,000 buildings are destroyed. Say those numbers slowly, and they stop being statistics and start becoming space. Empty lots where kitchens used to be. Corners where voices used to gather. Streets where no one knows which way home is because home is gone. And even the neatest number refuses to sit still. USGS points out that the commonly cited 700 deaths is likely too low, possibly by a factor of 3 to 4, because much of the loss was never fully captured. Most of the dead were in San Francisco. Another 189 were reported elsewhere. The disaster spills past the city's name, past its borders, past the way we like to package terror. But here's the darker twist. The ground didn't just break buildings. It broke certainty, and then it taught. The 1906 earthquake became one of the most important in the history of earthquake science because investigators tracked the movement and deformation. And in 1910, Reed framed elastic rebound, a model that still explains where earthquakes come from. Plague never left us. It just changed its shape. If you want to see what that slip taught us about the next one, open the door to the next journey.